Hello everyone, I'm Ina Man. Welcome to Higher Ground, the only show dedicated to finding common ground in the contentious debate over BC's natural resources. It should be no surprise for us to say the natural resource sector is a critical part of our economy. Dating back from the 1800s all the way to today, resources have formed the bedrock supporting BC's economic prosperity. So why then do these statements sound controversial? Mostly because there is a huge gap between how society perceives natural resources and the real benefits they bring. One of the most common misunderstandings is that natural resource jobs are strictly the hard hat and steel-toed boot variety, but nothing could be more further from the truth. As our community impact study showed, just 7 resource firms were responsible for $1.3 billion in spending with almost 1,700 suppliers in just 8 municipalities in Greater Vancouver. Many of these local suppliers are highly technical professionals such as engineers, scientists, and information technology specialists. Others are in the services sector, such as lawyers, accountants, designers, and creative professionals. One company here in Vancouver chock full of creative types is VisualCapitalist.com. This innovative company specializes in creating compelling data visualization pieces, such as infographics and slideshows, to help communicate the size, scope, and impact of the resource industry. Since 2010, the company has produced hundreds of projects for over 60 clients. We invited VisualCapitalist.com President Jeff Desjardins to walk us through some of their key creative projects, which help visually explain the importance of BC's mining sector.
This is something that we produced for AME BC's 100th anniversary. So the AME BC is the Association of Mineral Exploration in BC, and they've been in existence since 1912, and we did this a couple years ago. This is something that shows the value of production over how it's changed in BC over the last century. So in 1912, adjusted for inflation, BC produced about $771 million worth of commodities like coal, zinc, copper, lead, silver. And as you can see, over time that's changed quite a bit to the 2011 numbers here, which was 8.7 billion. And you can see how the mix of things has changed, especially in the favor of things like met coal and copper are both really huge in BC right now. It's important to show visually how big something is or how small something is because most people are visual learners. The other thing that is a factor is that when you use really big numbers like 1 billion, 1 trillion, people don't know how big that is and they need to put it into perspective with something else.
Joining us now in studio is Jeff Desjardins from VisualCapitalist.com. Thanks for coming in today, Jeff.
Thanks so much, Mina, for having me.
So Jeff, that was a lot of great information and visuals you walked us through. Where do you get all your ideas from?
Yeah, well, we actually have an editorial team and we try to put together content that we think is going to be very interesting for people, especially with the visuals, which is sort of our signature angle on things, is we produce everything, all the content on our site is done in visuals, whether it's infographics or slideshows or data visualizations, and we tackle topics that we think people want to know more about, or things that aren't covered as much as they should be. And so resources is obviously a big area for that. And so we're looking at areas, especially with respect to BC or Canada, areas that we think people want to learn more about.
It sounds like resources have a special importance for your company.
Yeah, we actually got our start working for mining exploration companies in 2010. So we started doing all kinds of contract work and design work for these companies that were exploring for resources all over the world. And ever since then, we've had a big anchor in the sector.
So Jeff, your company and jobs are based in the resource sector, but you and your team aren't the hard hat and steel-toed wearing boot types, are you?
Well, not every day. No, we're all creatives. Our staff is composed of me, a creative director, designers, marketers, and those types of people. So we're very heavy on the media and graphics side.
Finally, Jeff, you and your team are movers and shakers in the under 30 crowd. What do you think about the contentious debate over BC's natural resources?
My thoughts on the debate are that there's a very rational middle ground in between that doesn't get the type of publicity that it deserves, which is why the show's great. But on both ends, there's these polar opposites, and they both have really strong opinions. And they tend to get a lot of the airplay and a lot of the airtime. So I think that there's more people out there than is given credit for, that I think are rational people that understand that something that's a project that's economic, that's a resource project, that's safe, and that all the precautions are gone in, and it's gone through all of the the government steps. I think that those projects, a lot of people would agree that they're very important. And yeah, there's going to be people that say no and people that say yes to every project, but overall, somewhere in the middle ground, there's a very rational middle.
And that's it for Higher Ground this week. Make sure to visit our website at resourceworks.com, sign up for our e-newsletter, and don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. For ResourceWorks, I'm Ina Mann.